Okay, doing an update video on the preamp based off of the Ampeg B15NF, the preamp section of that amplifier. And I have everything mounted, as you can see here. I've got the terminal strips mounted here, and I've got the tube socket stand right here, which I made out of another piece of Ohio license plate, as you can see there. And I just took this is the only two cuts that I had to make on this whole chassis, one here, one there, and then I bent it at a 90-degree angle. The hole was already drilled. I just used the existing hole from the corner of the license plate. It looked kind of just like this, and I attached it with the existing holes in these two license plates where I joined them and tucked it underneath, so you can't even see the where this tucks underneath. So not that that's super important, but it was an extra little added perk. So today I'm going to, well, this needs tightened up either way. None of this stuff is tightened up, so don't worry about that. I'm just putting it where it belongs for the time being. Today, here, let me explain this first. My plan is to do this in steps, so I'm not in the workshop, aka my front porch, stripping, tinning, soldering, looking at schematics, figuring out where the next thing goes, all that kind of stuff, all at the same time. So what I'm going to do is just do a piece at a time. So today I'm going to do the power section. I've stripped the power cable, which is now hardwired. You can see it coming in through this grommet here, nice and snug. That's not going anywhere, and unless you really yank on it. So before I had the plug that you plugged in and out, and it, but now it's a solid connection. This saved me a bunch of cuts that didn't really look all that great when I was finished with it anyway. Now it's a solid drill, nice and clean with a grommet. Okay, so I've got the safety earth bond connected right here, super snug, with a star washer on top of the connector here, then one bolt, then a lock washer, then another bolt on top of that, just to make sure that really stays snug. I want to make sure that I'm always connected to ground. I went ahead and stripped all the wires here to get them ready to be tinned, then soldered to their respective places. And I have connected, like, say for instance, see this one? I know I cheated. I ran out of room because I've used these two transformers on every project so far. Well, the two previous ones. So this will be the third version. So these are these have been reincarnated. So this is the third incarnation of the preamp that it included these transformers, and this got a little short, so I had to add a little jumper to get it to the fuse holder. Okay, but I've got everything twisted and loaded up with some shrink tubing. So when I get that soldered, when I get that joint soldered, I can just slip that over and shrink tube it. Same with the pilot lamp. I've got everything hooked up here to the pilot lamp, twisted. Got the resistor here that will then go to the fuse on that side, and then, like I said, I've got shrink tubing on this side that'll slide down there, shrink that. I've got shrink tubing on this side to make this joint nice and clean, and then everything else is just going straight to wherever it's gonna go after I tin all these edges. And then I've got this jumper that goes from the power to the fuse. Then I'm going to take the 12 volts and get them ready to be soldered up here, and then I'll have to prep the wires. I'm going to do this separately though. I will tin all these and get these ready to solder here. Who knows? I might just cut some wires real quick, make sure they're long enough to twist to get to the pins 4 and 5 of the tube. So that's pretty much it. I'm only going to do the power section and probably get the 12 volts to this terminal strip right here. Boom and boom, wherever I'm going to put them. I'm not sure, but not to the ground one here, but probably maybe these two, and then twist them up. I'm probably going to take them from the back here and take them, because pins 4 and 5 are like right here, you know. I don't want to take it around and then up through. Plus there's not going to be a metal piece of a chassis here. It's probably going to be a wooden piece of the base that's going to come this way. So I'll probably run it as close to the corner here, up in this corner, and then run it straight to here, and then boom, right there. So there it is so far. Let me give you a quick look at the front, what it's going to look like. On, off, you got your pilot light, fuse, output. Here, let me take it from this side. There's your input, volume, bass, tone, bass treble, and output. And what I'm going to do here, this is 12 volt to the filaments. This terminal strip right here is going to be the rectifier. This one here is going to be the smoothing section, the resistor and capacitor filters. Then B plus is going to come out of here to, I forget exactly which one of these, and then I'll be able to go point to point from the input straight to the tube socket with no extra wiring, keep all the connections short. Then from the volume straight to the tube socket, then out of the tube socket into the input section of the tone stack, then output somewhere around here. I'm not sure which one. I've got it all laid out. And then straight to the output, and then ground is all going to be set up nicely, and I'll explain how I have the grounding scheme. But it should work out pretty well. I've already checked the connection from ground, from that, you know, from the ground pin of the cable to all the places in the chassis that are supposed to be grounded, and it's tight. I'm getting connection everywhere. It's beeping. And so I just wanted to give you this quick update. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go out and tin all these connections, or all these ends, and then solder them. And I'll be done with the power section of the preamp. And also, not sure if I explained this already. I'm a little scattered this morning. I wanted to do this because before, whenever I'd go out onto the porch, aka my workshop, I would look at the wiring diagram and the schematic and go, oh, okay, this one goes here. Then I'd solder it or tin it, then solder it. Then I'd look at the next piece and go, oh, okay, what's the next piece, and all that kind of stuff. This way, I'm going to do the setup separately. I'm going to say, okay, here is the plan going out onto the porch and soldering, so that way I have everything planned out, and I can, it won't necessarily be any quicker. And this really didn't take much longer, and it might even take longer doing it the other way, because I'm going back and forth between okay, what's the next wire, and between like the planning phase and the soldering phase. And I've got a hot soldering iron sitting there, and I'm like, you know, like, oh, okay, you know, I got to get this next piece soldered and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's better this is going to be much better because I can do the planning in a relaxed fashion, then go out to where my soldering iron is and do the soldering separately in a more relaxed way because I already know what I'm going to do, where the connections are. Of course, I'm going to take my wiring diagram out and double check everything as I go. But, having, say for instance, this already twisted up and having the shrink wrap already ready on all these connections, it's going to make it so much nicer. So this is the plan so far, and stay tuned. I'll give you guys an update once I get the power section done and before I go into any of the other wiring. Okay, thank you so much.